News tonight out of Brentwood, where two people were found dead at the home of award-winning actor and director Rob Reiner. Nick Reiner, the son of legendary director Rob Reiner, was taken into custody for questioning, and his name appeared in an FBI interrogation record, a development that immediately sent shockwaves through Hollywood as it surfaced just hours after authorities sealed off the Reiner family's mansion in the Brentwood neighborhood. Director and actor Rob Reiner confirmed that Rob Reiner and his wife Michelle Singer Reiner were found stabbed to death, a revelation that transformed initial disbelief into a chilling sense of unease across the industry and beyond. Few could have imagined that a neighborhood known for its isolation and quiet would become the setting of such a tragic event. Rob Reiner, an enduring icon of American cinema, and his life partner were discovered in circumstances serious enough for investigators to quickly rule out a natural passing. What began as a story marked by mourning and disbelief was soon reclassified as a criminal inquiry as special investigative units and the FBI became involved. Questions immediately arose about what truly happened behind the closed doors of the Reiner family home and why Nick Reiner became the first name to fall under the scrutiny of federal investigators. On the afternoon of December 14, 2025, the usually quiet Brentwood neighborhood was sealed off after Romy Reiner contacted police when she was unable to reach her parents. When authorities arrived, Rob Reiner and his wife were confirmed to have passed away at home under circumstances serious enough to rule out natural causes. The scene showed no signs of forced entry or disruption, making the direction of the investigation highly sensitive, and the case was quickly transferred to the LAPD's Robbery Homicide Division, with the FBI joining the inquiry. At that same moment, information began to leak that intensified the already suffocating atmosphere. Nick Reiner was directly questioned by the FBI. According to multiple reports, on the evening of December 14th, just hours after the Brentwood scene was sealed, Nick was asked to come to an LAPD facility to assist with the investigation. Investigators were urgently reconstructing the final timeline of Rob Reiner and his wife, including meetings, phone calls, and movements in the 24 to 48 hours before they were discovered. Nick was questioned in detail about his personal schedule on December 13th and 14th, his presence in the Brentwood area, his last contacts with his parents, and recent relationships among family members. The questioning lasted several consecutive hours and focused on cross-checking his statements with phone data, security footage, and timeline markers collected by police. The process was conducted discreetly, with no public escort, no images of handcuffs, and no announcement of an arrest. Law enforcement representatives emphasized repeatedly that Nick Reiner was not considered a suspect at that time, stating there was no arrest warrant and no detention, and that claims of an official arrest were inaccurate. While police attempted to control information, the Reiner family chose silence. Only a brief statement expressing deep grief over the immense loss was released, with no comment on Nick's cooperation with investigators. No further remarks were made, and no family members appeared before the media. This silence inadvertently focused even more public attention on Nick, who became the most mentioned name once the case was classified as a criminal inquiry. Reporters converged on the Brentwood neighborhood, searching for details to piece together the period before the tragedy. Some neighbors said they had seen Nick around his parents' home in the days prior, which was not unusual, while others whispered about hearing tense exchanges from inside the house, though no one could confirm their nature or severity. These fragments spread rapidly across social media, becoming embellished by speculation and emotion, creating a perception that instability may have existed before the tragedy, despite no official confirmation. As a result, less than 24 hours after the news broke, Nick Reiner began to be viewed through a different lens. Once a low-profile son, he became a figure scrutinized in minute detail, from his schedule and family relationships to past statements. In public discussion, questions grew about why suspicion converged on him so quickly. According to people familiar with the family, the relationship between Nick and his father was complex from an early age, marked by disagreements over discipline, autonomy, and money. Rob Reiner was described as a principled father accustomed to control, while Nick showed a strong personality and reacted sharply to pressure. These differences reportedly escalated into loud arguments, especially during Nick's late teens and early 20s, when his desire for independence clashed with the family's management style. Neighbors recalled evenings when arguments could be heard, sometimes accompanied by sounds of objects being shoved, though no authorities were ever called. Over time, these conflicts simmered rather than disappeared, leading the public to question whether tensions were ever resolved or merely hidden. Another factor that intensified suspicion involved finances. Rob Reiner was not only a celebrated director, but also one of Hollywood's most financially significant figures, with assets believed to be in the hundreds of millions, including real estate, production interests, and long-term income from classic films. Despite having 4 children, he had never publicly disclosed a will or clear plan for asset distribution, a situation that often creates tension in wealthy families. Within this context, Nick was often perceived as more marginal compared to his siblings, who appeared more stable and established. Family acquaintances referenced tense discussions related to financial support and future plans, though none were publicly confirmed. Psychologists noted that long-standing family conflict combined with financial uncertainty can cause individuals to be viewed negatively when a crisis occurs, even without direct evidence. Before his name appeared in interrogation records, Nick Reiner's life had already been marked by turbulence. In rare interviews, he acknowledged that his struggles began in adolescence under the pressure of growing up in a prominent Hollywood family. What began as experimentation intensified into instability, with sleepless nights, neglected school, and a loss of routine. He was admitted to a treatment facility before his 15th birthday, marking the beginning of a long cycle of treatment, which he later confirmed totaled 17 separate admissions. Each attempt at stability was brief, followed by renewed disruption. At times, Nick rejected family conditions and left Los Angeles, living a nomadic life across several states, sleeping outdoors or in public spaces, and losing contact with family for extended periods. Minor encounters with authorities during this period painted a picture of a life lacking control, experiences that later inspired the film Being Charlie, which Nick co-wrote and Rob Reiner directed, drawing heavily from his real life. In recent years, Nick returned to Los Angeles and attempted to rebuild, but his past followed him. When he was brought in for questioning, public unease extended to questions about what his siblings may have said,